funding levels that Democrats voted for. By the way, House Republicans could have come with a table, a CR with $1.5 trillion of spending reductions to match the $1.5 trillion of spending increase the Democrats wanted. And now there'd be areas of compromise. But the House Republicans basically said, here's the deal.
How is that a compromise?
Let's not shut down government. But let's not make federal government workers pay for our dysfunction. So they passed a clean CR, the President Biden's funding levels. So again, that's been voted down 12 times, regrettably. But let me set that.
12 times it's been voted down. You want to guess who voted the nays on that? You'd probably be right. Welcome to Grown as Men, a perspective podcast from the last generation of unashamed men. I grew up in a world where responsibility mattered, respect was earned, and the term, can't we all just get along, was actually a thing. So here's the voting summary on measure number S3012. Let me give you a brief description of what this summary, what this was about, as well as actually 2882. So let's do 2882 first. So it was the Continuing Appropriations Act 2026, and the purpose of that was basically to reopen the government by temporarily funding everything that at current levels, okay? If it was passed, then the shutdown ends. It did not reach the 60 votes needed, so it was a failed closure. And a closure, for all of you, spelled CLOTURE, is essentially an end to the filibuster on any given subject within an appropriations bill. Okay, so it'll address one part of the appropriations bill, not necessarily an entire thing, although this basically did end the entire thing, but instead of, basically forcing it through for however many more years, it would be through 2026. And I'm not sure, to be honest, if that would mean like through the beginning of 2026. I believe that's actually what it is, or it could actually mean through the fiscal year 2026, which would again be October. But anyways, that failed. The 3012, which is essentially called the Shutdown Fairness Act, the purpose of that would have been to pay active military and essential federal workers during this shutdown. It wouldn't have been retroactive, which means they wouldn't have been reimbursed. That would have to be negotiated within whatever appropriations bill that moves forward. And I would hope that that would be the case. I don't see why it wouldn't. It's never, I don't believe, to my knowledge, has been done where they, opened the government back up and decided they weren't going to pay back, our military service members. So it is important to get something passed. This would have been a great compromise, I think. But the problem here is that it was voted down. And who do you think it was voted down by? Oh, you guessed right. The Democrats, by and large. Now we have, I believe, 3 Democrats. If we look here, I'm going to go down to the yays. 3 Democrats, and that was Fetterman, Ossoff, and Warnock, which came as a shock to me, to be honest. But look at this. Look at this, fine. So, and another thing that came to the shock to me is this right here, Thune. This is one of the guys that basically pushed this vote forward, or decided that we should vote on it, for the Senate to vote on it, and then he votes against it. I don't know what his reasoning is. I haven't looked into it that much. But again, this would have been to end the filibuster, at least on the portions of let's get our essential federal employees paid. Now, there's some pushback saying from the Democratic Party that it was too much discretion at the for the executive branch to determine what those essential employees are. My guess is they didn't want some of that payment, to go to things like ICE. I don't know. That's just speculation. But I think it needs to be, noted here that, like, again, look, you had a chance to do the right thing. It wasn't going to do anything that had to do with healthcare. There was a similar one to reopen the government short term, and the effect, if passed, would have restarted SNAP payments and general federal operations. That was also defeated in the Senate. The majority once again said yes, but fell short of the 60. And if you're wondering why this isn't a simple majority vote, the reason is because it was a filibuster, right? It was filibustered. And in order to overturn a filibuster, you need 60 votes. John Fetterman posed an idea that I am all for, and that is ending the filibuster. And I don't think that's such a terrible idea, because if you end that, then there's literally nothing, no weapon that the Democrats could use to stop the Trump agenda. Now, I get that you do that at risk of Democrats taking power, and then, there's, no risk of stopping their agenda, right? But from where I'm standing is, if the Trump agenda continues to move forward, American people, the American public will continue to benefit from that. We will continue to see the things that he campaigned on be executed, and the Democrats will no longer have a leg to stand on. I mean, it's getting harder and harder for them to justify the decisions they make, because they are pandering to the most extremist of the left side of the aisle, and they are pandering to illegal immigrants. You are seeing lots of minorities start to kind of wake up to what they've been doing, which has been playing them for 100 years. So I would be all for doing away with the filibuster. And I agree with John Fetterman. I think Republicans should do it. All right, guys, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching. This has been Grown as Men. If you like the content, give it a like, give it a share, subscribe, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll see you on the next one. Till then, stay free, stay safe. God bless America, and God bless everyone.